Good morning from Sweden. This is the I Ching reading for today, 9th of February 2026. I hope you are well. So we are looking at the energies around us and how to best navigate them in order to have the most smooth and possible way forward. And as usual, we're starting by bringing ourselves into the present moment, leaving old energies behind, old thoughts behind, stress and anything that might affect us, and just going into this present moment. And we're doing this by sitting down and rooting down into a seat. Feet firmly placed on the floor beneath us if you're sitting on a chair. Making sure you're rooting into Mother Earth heavily, right? Really sinking down. And if you are walking, each step is connecting to the surface or the ground below you. Really, really firmly. Feel like you've got tree roots growing from the soles of your feet into Mother Earth, all the way down, connecting deeply, deeply. And empty your lungs fully. And then continue breathing in and out through the nose. Into the stomach. Feeling this energy fill the lower dantian. Expanding as you breathe out, breathe in, and contracting as you breathe out. So when you breathe into the stomach expands all the way around the front, side, back, sorry. And as you breathe out, it contracts. And this energy field, that is your absolute center. 3 fingers below your navel and 3 fingers in, 2 to 3 fingers in. It expands as you breathe in and it contracts as you breathe out. And as you breathe in, you can feel the movement in the spine rising towards the sky. Crown point to the sky, and as you breathe out, you're sinking into Mother Earth, more heavy for each breath. Although the spine remains rising towards the sky. This is creating a micro movement in your spine. You can feel the energy traveling up with the breath and then sinking down into the lower dantian with each breath. Out. Now you're pulling, with your breath in, you're pulling energy from Mother Earth through your soles of feet up, through your legs into the lower dantian. As you breathe out, the lower dantian contracts. And then as you breathe in, you're pulling energy from heaven above, through the crown point, all the way down through the middle of you into the lower dantian. Meeting the energy from Mother Earth below you. So you're the connector in between Father Heaven and Mother Earth. Energies are mixing within you in your absolute center. Okay, so how are the energies around us? And how do we best navigate the day forward in order to have the most smooth and joyous day ahead? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. So we have thunder, Thunder below, the inner is thunder. And it looks like this. 2 yin are resting on a yang. Looks very, beginning very similar as it did yesterday. So, how are the energies around us today and how do we best navigate them in order to have the most smooth day ahead? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. Above thunder, above thunder. So that is a primary gua. So we've got 2 duplicates, okay? So Sen, Sen, so that's that duplicated. And both hexagram, they're starting with a yang and then 2 yin. So they are solid, starting with a solid base and then a receptive above nourishing. So let's have a look. But nothing is corresponding at the moment. Yang with yang, yin with yin, yin with yin. Yang, yin, that's not correct. And then yang, yin, and that's not correct. There should be yang and that should be yang to be in a correct place. But generally, I think we've got some movement. Today, thunder obviously stirs things up in the sky above us, but also it's the beginning of release as well, right? So you've got a big clouds gathering above us, right? And so we're waiting before the rain, and then we've got a great big thunderstorm, and that's a release as well. So it's allowing things to release. So let's have a look what's changing and where we are specifically in the process of this hexagram. So first 9, second 6, third 6, fourth 9, fifth 6 is changing into a yin, so we've to a yang, sorry. So we've got lake above thunder, and three. So we've got water above thunder. So this is like, it really feels like a rain cloud gathering before the release. So there's a lot of pressure on now, it feels like, and actually I've felt it throughout the night. There's so much going on currently in my life. It's like I'm moving out in a few weeks and I don't know what to do with my furniture. Shall I sell it or shall I keep it? Because I'm going on the road and there's so much going on at work as well that is just not very good, usually. So yin, yin, yang. So the approach is again, and then we've got yin, yang, yin, which is water. Water over mountain. So that's water, which is kan. Again, so that's water coming down the mountain. Or even water rain cloud. Again, we get this. It's like the gathering, like there's a pressure cooker with the Zen, and then we've got the storm cloud gathering above, and we're waiting for the rain just yet. So for something to burst, right? So the movement here is like you can hear it in the distance, the thunder coming in here, and the rain cloud is now gathering. If we're moving into the rain cloud, is gathering, right? And then we've got water over the mountain. So the mountain is stillness. So something is really, it's still, it doesn't move, right? It's not stillness, it's like solidity. It doesn't move, it's very stagnant. However, the water above is also, I feel like a rain cloud, or could even be a stream coming down after it's been raining on the mountain. And feels more of a release here. We'll see, but that's the advanced gua or the hidden gua, so that's the underlying energies here. So let's have a look at what are the hexagrams we receive today, and then what do they actually mean? So let's go. So we've got Zen, thunder over thunder is just primary gua, which is 51. 51. Thunder, and then we got lake over thunder, which is 17, which is what's sort of the most, what we're moving into, and also the most, that's the stage of the the main energy that we are in, right? So the different stages as well. Each line is like a different stage of the energy. And then we have got Kan over mountain, Gen. Kan, Gen, which is 13. So let's start with the main energy. It's taking action, which is a wood element. So taking action, yeah. Thunder, yes, a lot of action. Thunder, right? Then, and then wood. And again, apologize about my handwriting. I'm sitting, it's not the best, normally, but it's not becoming any better by me sitting in this position. Now, let's see, writing in that position. So 17, which is following. When one is humble and full of delight, surely people will come to follow. Thus of delight comes following. This gua is very special, for it possesses the 4 virtues, as do the first and second gua. So the first and second gua, which is initiating and responding, and the 4 great virtues, which the emperor, they looked at, these are a great emperor, a great leader are supposed to possess these great virtues, which is Yuan, Heng, Li, Chen. And Yuan is like initiating. Heng is like the, let's have a look at that actually. Number 1, that's very important, so let's have a look at that. Origin. So sublime and initiative, Yuan, origin. This is the origin, right? This is the beginning of everything. It's the sprout. It's the spring, right? Anything where the growth begins. So the Yuan is the origin, and that's sublime and initiative. So you're gentle, so sublime and initiative. So you take initiative. So you're a person who takes, like a great leader is a person who takes initiative, right? Prosperous and smooth. Heng, sacrifice, offering. So smooth, you move forward. You have great qualities and you're sharing them with the world, right? And you do this in a gentle way. You sacrifice, you're offering your virtues to the people below you, around you, right? People, this is your offering. Favorable and beneficial, harvest. And then from this comes the harvest, and you share the harvest of, right? Of the growth. So the harvest is, you've got sprouting, growing, blooming, bearing fruit. Right, so harvest, and this you share with everyone. So you're offering, you offer to people, and then obviously when you're sharing from yourself, then this is going to benefit people, and then from this you're going to get a great harvest, right? From having lots of friends around you and having a lot of people who are walking in the same way. For example, it could be many different situations. I'm just speaking about the like the great virtues here. And then Zen, steadfast and upright. So Zen, divination. So steadfast and upright, always being yourself, truthfully you, right? There are not two versions of you, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Like most people on the planet have different faces. Like when I speak to my mother, I have like in one face, and when I speak to my boss, I'm in a different one. And you know, because we're trying to fit in constantly in different types of groupings, right? But there is only one truthfully you, and this is like steadfast and upright. Then that's a great leader. You always know who they are because they don't shift and change. They're always the same, right? Because they're always truthfully you, truthfully them. So 39, let's have a look. And this is like the underlying energy, so it's not very strong. Actually, first, let's have a look at the following, which is metal. There's a metal there, some cutting away. Metal, and this was a grief. Wood is growth. Metal is cutting away. Wood is growth from, you know, when you go through a difficult situation, which we have been, right? It's been a really tough time lately. But from that, there's a possibility of growth, right? As long as we take the opportunity. But also we need to cut away what is toxic and what does not serve us anymore, okay? And metal is also associated with the emotion of grief. So we need to leave behind, right? Maybe we lost somebody that we love very much, or they're very far away, or maybe they died or something, but we cannot stay in that emotion either, right? Yes, grieve. Yes, take your time to grieve, right? But we cannot keep on being stuck in that year in, a year out. We need to move forward in life, okay? So then we need to not cut away the ones that we love, but cut the strings that keeps us attached to the grief, the sorrow, the sadness. And then so we can remember the good times and then take them, carry them with us in our heart forever, right? But moving forward. So transmuting this grief into joy of that they've been in our life, for example, right? Okay. So we've got 39 hardship. Yeah. So, and that is that as well. Okay, metal. It's water. Okay, so we've got some great mixture in the energies here. So I'm just going to go to 51. Water. Okay. Zen means to shake, shock, or quake. In the I Ching, it is the symbol of thunder. Willem translates Zen as the arousing shock thunder. Thunder, yeah. Here I consider the significance of thunder employ the term taking action, right? For taking charge of a sacrificial vessel, no one is more suitable than the elder son. Thus, after establishing the new, taking action follows. Okay, so we're actually moving into our next step a little bit here. It feels like we're taking action. So what we've gone through is like we had a long period of like cutting away the old, abolishing the old here, right? First, abolishing the old, and after abolishing the old follows establishing the new. But in order to establish the new, we need to abolish the old. And this is what we've done. We've been cutting away, and we're still in this process. I am still in this process, right? I'm moving out of this apartment in a couple of weeks, and I have no idea where I'm going to put my things. I never mentioned this. And so still need to, I've got some work to do to sort of find some balance there, whilst I'm still actually in old work, which I'd like to move out of and build my new work, which I'm doing on the side as well. So it's very intense at the moment. However, because establishing the new, I need to hold on to what's old a little bit because this is my income stream, right? So abolishing the old and then establishing the new. But actually, we are taking action now. So far, we've more been watching and taking tentative steps. We've had to take some extraordinary action, you know, to cut things away, to change direction on a few occasions. But really, we've been cutting away, leaving the old behind, making movements into the new one. So the overall energy of this February month is initiating, which is the first hexagram of the I Ching, which is like this initial spark. So that's the energy of the overall energy of this February. But now we've taken the first sort of stumbling step into like going from the initiating. We had lots of receptive, like responding power, energy as well lately. We had that like the underlying energy yesterday, for example, and it keeps on popping up as well. So definitely this seed has been set. We're starting to nurture it, right? And we need to nurture this seed. We need to nurture, make sure we put energy towards what's new as well, right? And then still finding ways to remove what is old. And then here we are taking the next step. So we are taking action. So things are being shook up continuously because we cannot stay in the old, okay? It doesn't mean we're going to take it and throw it all away, right? We're taking step by step into the new. Okay, because when we're starting a new venture, we cannot see and we know very little. So in the beginning, things are in its childhood, and a child is like a little toddler, doesn't know what it's doing, so it keeps on falling over and bumping into things and might run out in the road. And so we need to look after ourselves and really make sure that we are watching the steps we're doing. But now we're moving into more of a taking action stance. So let's have a look at this image, actually very interesting. The ideograph of Zen comes from the form inscribed on bronze objects in the Zhou dynasty. The original form was very complicated, including pictures of rain and lightning. Okay, this image has been simplified. The upper part of the ideograph is the rain, water falling from clouds. The horizontal stroke at the top represents heaven, and the N-shaped curve stroke illustrates the clouds. I think it's this one. Or maybe this one. The clouds. It must be this one. The clouds. A vertical stroke in the middle symbolizes an act of falling. Falling. The 4 dots are the raindrops. So there's the rain falling from the cloud. The lower part of the ideograph is the character Zen. Shen. At present, it means time, but in ancient time, it meant shock. According to the Chinese lunar calendar, there are 24 solar terms in the year. Zen was related to the 3rd solar term, which the waking of insects, which takes place on the 6th day of the 3rd month of the Chinese lunar calendar. During this period, thunder roars. The thunder proclaims that spring is arriving. Okay. All hibernating insects and animals awaken, and tiny sprouts emerge. Peasants and farmers prepare to plant crops. Okay, so we are starting to take action now towards our new goal. We have been taking steps, but have been more tentative, and we've been doing a lot of watching and making sure that the steps that we are taking. But now we are starting to prepare for the upcoming harvest of whatever endeavor we're coming into, this new cycle that we're walking into. So we are sowing the seeds, we are preparing for this new cycle. So taking action, prosperous and smooth. Thunder comes, alarm, alarm, laughing and talking, ha ha. Thunder shocks 100 li. The sacrificial spoon and chalice do not fall. So there is, yes, we're laughing and talking despite the thunder. So it's all taking action, prosperous and smooth. So it's fine, right? So we, although a quake is a way to make advance smooth without obstruction. When there is an earthquake, everyone is fearful. Afterward, they forget the fearfulness and begin talking and laughing as usual. They learn no lesson from the quake, so it is not beneficial. Only the sage is on alert. When the thunder shocks 100 li, he is still able to remain calm and at ease. Okay, so like we're moving right now. There is some shocking times, right? We're going to be shook up, and we are being shook up every now and then. But we need to remain calm and at ease. So So it's like there's big things happening here, but this is not unusual in the beginning of a journey. And then we mustn't forget our lessons, right? As soon as we got a problem, and then we sort of, oh yeah, so it's over now, dealt with it, and then move on without actually remaining alert and remembering this. So often we do this, something happens and we forget about it, and then same thing happens and then forget about it, and then the same thing happens and then forget about it, and we remain in the same cycle of karma, in the same spot. We're not moving forward truly. So this is also we've been talking about as well, being like what I was saying, watching and listening, right? Remaining alert. So a wise person remains alert, right? Even when things are calming down, okay? Thunder, taking action, prosperous and smooth. So taking action is good. We need to take action right now. Thunder comes, alarm, alarm. Being fearful brings good fortune. Laughing and talking, ha, ha, ha. After that, there is a principle to follow. Thunder shocks 100 li. It startles the distance and frightens the near. So it means that this is a shock that's going to affect a lot of people, right? Coming forth, he is able to protect the temple of ancestors and the state as well, and take charge of all sacrifices. So this is remain calm and peaceful, although there might be things going on. But this is also like the lake here, which is what we're moving into. Like the lake speaks of, like if you've got lake as a primary gua, that is, I think, is joyous or joyful. And lake represents joy, and true joy that comes from a stable center, the center that we are joyous and peaceful, and within our center. It's like the eye of a hurricane, or not hurricane, of a tornado, like, which is absolutely calm, but around is just chaos. And this is what we should remain, this, and this is what our center should be, like this lower dantian, this center, the center of us, like remaining calm no matter what. And then we can radiate joy out, and then we can take charge of all the sacrifices and the state, and coming forth is to protect the temple of ancestors, so we can protect whatever is around. Because if we are being shook up and then we're being drawn into all the hullabaloo, is that a word even? Hullabaloo. Then we're not going to be very helpful, right? We're just going to be drawn into the general chaos. And this might just be within your life, right? We need to have a solid, strong center where we can rest into, and then move from there by watching and listening, deciding on the next steps, but we are definitely taking the steps forward. Thunder is dual, action is doubled. In correspondence with this, so this they're talking about that we got thunder over thunder, right? This is the primary gua. In correspondence with this, the superior person with fearful mind is cultivating his virtue and examining his fault. So, yeah. A superior person with a fearful. So if you are fearful, right, this are scary times, right? And we are all throughout our life, we're going to go through scary times at times. But if we remain peaceful and calm, and then look at ourselves, how should I respond to this? And actually being as peaceful, so peaceful that we can actually respond rather than react, okay? Not lashing out or anything. So we need to cultivate our virtue, which is like being humble, peaceful, compassionate, initiative, responding, like all this, being able to give and take, and always being stable, like a mountain here. Like mountain is always stable. It doesn't matter. The thunder can go and cross, but the mountain is still there. It doesn't move, right? And then we've got the water above here. Actually, I'd like to just have a look at the underlying energy, which is hardship, quickly. It feels like, before we continue into the changing line here, hardship. Okay, so I mean, yan meant lame or lame person. From lame, its meaning extends to encompass difficulty in walking or hardship. So here we go. If there's misunderstanding and this diversity in a household, surely hardship will result. Thus, after diversity, hardship follows. So if you are in a situation, which I am, which is a bit people are not aligned, right? And then that's like diversity in the household. So that's diversity at work for me. No, things are not allowed. No, some people are. Many people are aligned. There's some decay, I'd say. Let's leave it at that. So then life becomes more difficult, right? When anything you do becomes more difficult, and when you have this decay, sort of, rather than just being able to work in peace together, there is a disruption constantly. But always what it's talking about, right? It comes back to you and to me, of course, right? If one loves others and they do not respond in the same way, one should turn inward and examine one's own love. If one treats others politely and they do not return politeness, one should turn inward and examine one's own politeness. When one does not realize what one desires, one must turn inward and examine oneself in every point. This passage reveals the true spirit of what the ancient sages learned from the square. Let's have a look at the decision. Hardship favorable to the southwest, so we probably got friends there. This King Wen, or whoever wrote this, I think King Wen. Unfavorable to the northeast, so with probably different tribes. Favorable to see a great person, so take advice from a wise person, being steadfast and upright, good fortune. So remain truthfully you, peaceful, okay? Do not lash out. So then it will be fine, all will be fine. So we've got this thunderous energy which makes life a little bit more difficult than one would wish for, but that's life, right? Sometimes we go through more difficult times, and that's it. But we need to remain steadfast and upright. Continue being you, truthfully you, okay? So let's have a look at the changing line, which is the 5th. 6th, thunder comes back and forth, adversity. No great loss, something will happen. Thunder comes back and forth, adversity. One takes a risk in doing. Important matters are central. Nothing at all is a great loss. So, nothing is no great loss anywhere. So, whatever is happening. So, let's have a look at the text deeper here. Thunder comes back and forth, suggests moving forward and backward. The line is a yin element at the yang place. Yeah, so it's got yin there, it's a yang place, okay? Central but not correct. If it moves forward, it reaches the top line at the end of the action. There is no way to go forward. If it comes back, its responding line at the second position is also a yin element, and there will be no correspondence. It is an unfavorable situation. This line describes the time during the Reformation when King Wen surveyed the whole situation. He remained calm and at ease. Okay? So there's during the Reformation in China during this time, right? Things were changing. King Wen overthrew the tyrant in the end of Shang. That's a lot of Reformation. But he remained calm and at ease, right? Although the shock of Reformation affected everyone in a radius of 100 li, he would not let the sacrificial spoon and chalice, political power, fall. There was no great loss at the moment, but he sensed that matters of importance could be affected, yeah. So currently there is nothing really bad going. Oh, there's nothing, no great loss at the moment, but it could have for the future, could have some unwanted outcomes, okay? So remain watching and listening, and then remain this strong energy, and then remain truthfully you, and all will be fine. And there's some wonderful time for growth here. So let's have a look at following. And I think following speaks about following, but not mindlessly. Make sure that you follow the correct person. You don't want to follow Trump, for example, because that would be trouble, or someone like him. when or narcissist, or so make sure, examine, right? Is the surface, it looks very shiny and fine, right? And he or she speaks great words, but is it true? What does the inner look like? Maybe it's just decay in there. So make sure that you're following the correct person. When one is humble and full of delight, surely people will come to follow. Thus after delight comes following. And then delight is what this is here, right? The lake speaks about joy. Joy, do it. Let's have a look at it. See, just gonna have a look. Do it, which is 58. See if I'm just not talking correctly here. So there is 58. It's joyful, yes. So lake in double is joyful, right? And it's the center of the lake. If your center is solid, right? Not solid, hard, but like it's you're at peace at the center no matter what, then you can radiate joy from out. Like joy from outside is fun to watch, like comedians or like fun things and laughing with your friends and all. This is wonderful, right? But this should not be your main source of joy. The main source of joy should come from within. It shouldn't, if we are expecting other things or external things to keep us happy and central and peace, and we're expecting external things to do things, bring us all these kind of things, well then, we're in trouble, because life looks like it does, right? So we need to be able to cultivate this joy and this stability within ourselves, okay? Following, sublimely prosperous and smooth, favorable to be steadfast and upright, no fault. So this is good. So you've got sublimely prosperous and smooth and steadfast, right? Both of them. So we're moving forward smoothly and remain new truthfully. So following, the firm comes and places itself under the yielding, moving with delight. It is following. So we're moving with delight, this joy that we cultivated, great prosperity and smoothness, as well as steadfastness and uprightness. There is no fault. All under heaven follow the course of time. Great indeed is the significance of timing. So again, we're speaking about time. We did that in this one as well. In taking action, there was Zen. There was like the lower part of the ideograph, which was Shen, which in the olden days used to be shock, I think, and now meant time. So we're talking about timing. When is the correct time to do something, right? It might not be the best move to do something today. Maybe you need to do it tomorrow, all right? So make sure that you follow the timing, really look at the timing. Is this the best time, okay? Thunder in the midst of lake, an image of following. In correspondence with this, the superior person withdraws for rest when the sun goes down. Okay. So it's a little bit of nourishing here as well, which means going to bed when we need to rest, okay? So let's have a look at that. If you see this little star here, according to King Wen's arrangement of the 8 primary gua, thunder symbolizes the sun rising in the east and lake the sun setting in the west. Thunder in the midst of lake symbolizes the sunrise will surely follow sunset. That time continues in the proper order. Okay, yeah. So do things in the correct time, right? When the sun sets, it's time to go to bed, to rest, so that you've got strength in the morning to take action and moving forward with a clear mind and strength and energy, lots of energy as well. So yeah, so this is the reading of today. We are taking steps forward, definitely. And we are really looking at who we are following. If we're following somebody, or we're following somebody that's correct, we should follow our own inner voice. Listen to our own inner voice. If it says, our intuition says that do not walk down this route, well then listen to that intuition. And then we've also been talking a lot about timing. When is the correct time to do something? Although we're taking action at the moment, but still maybe not rushing forward crazily. Right? Is this the correct time? Maybe taking action tomorrow is better. But we are coming into the spring season. Thunder is above the sky. So rain is about to fall. Always falling. There's a thunderstorm. So spring is setting in here. So we have planted our seeds and we are preparing for our great harvest of this new cycle, which is to come. Okay, if we keep on moving forward in the correct direction. Okay, and in the correct timing, following the right direction at the right time. Okay, wishing you a beautiful day ahead. And thank you for listening to this one. And if you find it of benefit, I would love for you to like and subscribe. And then I'll be able to see you here again, maybe. Okay, wishing you a beautiful day. Bye-bye.